Hi, my name is Aton and welcome to another After Effects tutorial. Today I will be showing you, part 1 of how to make this. And this basic idea, this was a low quality version just because I'm streaming from YouTube and it's, kind of slow. But basically just a little flyby of a building, probably be a bit brighter than this. So, actually what we'll be making in part 1 is actually more like that, and then in part 2 we'll sort of transform this into a more realistic looking cool thing. So let's get started. So make a new composition, and then first, if you want, you can just drag in your background. So I'm just using one of the skies that came with Element 3D. And then next, Metropolitan for Element 3D. So next, I'll be adding a solid that is the size of the composition and applying element to it. Okay, and bring this, on top. So now, in our scene setup, we're going to add some stuff from Metropolitan. So we can go to, for the sake of the tutorial, we'll just do no antenna. Those render faster, less detail. They just don't have the crazy antennas at the top, but that's probably fine. So I like to just take the city blocks for stuff like this. Make sure you just get a few of the night ones, because it's important that they have the lights there. The easiest way to make these things look realistic is when it's at night. That generally works the best. Okay. So now that we have a few of these, press OK. And so now we have them right there, except that's just like one of them. So we can go into the particle repeater and bring this way up, like 200. I'm going to set the view quality lower once this loads. Kind of goes crazy sometimes when you add so many. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to go to scatter and just sort of spread them out a bit. I'll set this at like 100. Oh wait, it's this one. There we go. So I'm finding that 100 on each side, on the X and the Z, looks pretty good for scatter. So now we're going to add in a camera and make this background a 3D layer, the night sky. We don't need to worry about making this Element 3D composition 3D because it already is 3D. It sort of works built in with that camera. So then what we're going to do is just move this camera around. I'm going to hit C to bring up the camera tool, and then so we can move that, get a more pleasing view, then hit V just to go back, and then push the sky back in Z space because in reality it would be a lot further back. And then you can scale it back up so it fits again. I'm going to bring that down. Perfect. And I might even back this camera up a little bit. C. Can keep hitting C and it'll cycle through the controls so we can back up a little. Okay, so this is looking pretty good for our initial, initial shot. So we can start by making this a little darker. In the render settings, go to lighting, and then additional lighting, we can set it to dark. And then we'll want to sort of soften that by adding a little light fall off. That's a pretty extreme look. Okay. Perfect. And I'm going to add actually an ambient light just to sort of dim it a little because it's a little sharp contrast for I think what we're looking for. And then I'm going to go into the material settings of this and make sure it cannot accept lights, so that way we don't have to worry about the background. The lights we're putting in now are only affecting this Element 3D layer, which is perfectly fine. Okay, so we have a nice little dark look here, so now we're going to animate the camera. So go down to the transform options. I would recommend keyframing all of them, and then go forward just a little, and then just move forward. So I'm going to go up a little and pretty close to one building. You can see here actually that they're not quite spread out enough, so I'm going to go back. That's just when we get close, so we can scatter them some more. Try 150. Oh, not enough. How about 200? Alright, that looks fine. So then we'll just move around it a little more just to find a good building we can sort of focus on. We'll make it this building right here. Get real close to it. Okay, there we go. So, and I guess we'll have to add in a few more of these to fill in. We spaced it out a little thin. Okay, so if we're looking, we come right up to this building, and then over here we're gonna come a little past it. And then back a little. There we go. This is a little different than the initial video. That's looking pretty good. We see a little dark space over there. So just add more buildings till it fills up. Perfect. Okay. So we have a pretty nice fly through, except the other side is pretty bright. And if we're actually going to go all the way to the other side, then I don't think we should use this dark preset we set up before, because what it does is it creates sharp contrast by adding bright lights on one side and dark on the other. So we'll just set this to none. I think that actually looks fine. And then sort of go in, come around when it gets to that building. Perfect. And then we'll end the comp there. One other thing you can do if you want is ease your keyframe. So I'm going to hit F9 to sort of, just what that'll do is sort of ease into them and ease off of them, just making the animation overall a bit smoother. So this eased look might be exactly what you're going for, but I mean, it might not. I think it looks kind of cool here. Sort of really highlights that building. But if you don't like it, you can just make it a normal keyframe instead. So that's our basic look, and then in part 2, we'll get a little more in depth into making this look good and a little more realistic. So thank you for watching this After Effects tutorial. If you liked it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below, and I will try to get back to you. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.